Hello, hello. It looks like we are live for the first time, guys, on both YouTube and both Facebook Live. We have a guest here, and he's going to be introducing himself momentarily. If you have been part of our family for some time, then you've already seen him a couple of times. This is some new software that we're using, guys. As always, we're always trying to learn and grow and just find ways to be able to connect with you deeper and kind of just get through all of these glitchy things so that we can connect with you guys with as much ease as possible. So please excuse our dust, as they say, as we're building. Before we even dig in, I want to welcome everyone who has joined us. There's been so many new people who have joined us from our YouTube that we did with Kareem last Sunday. If you missed that, make sure you go check that out. So we have so many new nonprofit family members. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I'm so glad that you have decided that you really want to serve your community. You want to start putting action behind it. And that's really what we need more of right now with everything that's going on. I did send a quick email reminder. So if you're not on my email list, make sure you're joined as well. And if for some odd reason this is your first time seeing my face, I am Tracy Clark from Clark & Clark. We are nonprofit consultants as well as business coaches. We help you to be able to follow your dreams, follow the things you're passionate about, and go into the area or start working into the area of the community that you really have been called to serve, and then figure out ways to monetize that as well. So the last video we did last Sunday, we talked about 5 different ways to monetize your nonprofit, 5 different income streams that can come into your nonprofit. And one of those income streams was products and services. So we are going to go ahead and have Coach Austin introduce himself, and he's going to be talking about the products and services while we make sure that we are actually live from all of the places that we need to be live from. We have some comments here, so we are live. Hello, Joy. Hello, Yolanda. Oh, my goodness. I haven't heard from you in so long. Please say hi if you're watching, guys. That's the only way that we can be able to see you and know who's watching. So go ahead, Coach Austin, introduce yourself.
Good morning, everybody. My name is John Austin, Coach Austin from Austin Business Coaching. Tracy and I have been working together for a little while now, so we got a good relationship going, and I'm glad that what we're doing is helping our community. I have been an entrepreneur, business owner for about 15 years now, and mainly business coaching for the last 8. And our niche in the market, if you will, is to take the entrepreneur and create them into the business owner. Allow them to understand what it takes to take that idea, that dream, that vision, and turning into a profitable, fruitful, sustainable business. There's a lot of unsung heroes, if you will, as far as the minutia of building that business. And that's what we do, from the trademarking to the business plans to the feasibility studies, market research, things of that nature. From A to Z, we, Austin Business Coaching, give you the ABCs of becoming successful.
Got it. And I know most of us have heard your story. You shared it a couple of times when we were talking about the importance of sharing your story when it comes to marketing. But how long have you been working in the business coaching arena? Can you tell anybody a little bit about that for those who are seeing you for the first time?
Yeah, give you the little 5-minute elevator spill, if you will. So 2005, I was in oncology research in Baylor College of Medicine, and enjoying that career, doing some real estate rehab flips on the side type of thing. Long short, we got laid off. And the real estate piece was like, okay, I got to dive into this thing full time. That was the birthing of the entrepreneur venture. Lehman Brothers came, real estate market fell. We had to redevelop ourselves, reinvent ourselves, kept going into the green real estate space. Then the financial crisis happened not too long after that. In that time, birthed the business coaching. Because people were wondering, well, how are you getting funding? How are you getting banks to look at you, investors to look at you? What do you have that we don't have? And some people's businesses were way better than mine. They didn't have the functional business plan to sit in front of a banker or investor or anybody and say, okay, we can give you this money. It's risky right now, but how are you able to sustain and actually service that debt? And that's one thing a lot of businesses don't look at. How are you branded? How are you going to service that debt? And we were already writing business plans. Now, I'd been to school for international finance and trade. I've been to school for business management. So the writing of business plans was something that I had to do, and behind the scenes doing it for a couple of years. And then when we needed it, boom, we took off with it. So the meat and potatoes of that Austin Business Coaching was birthed then. I helped probably 30 businesses take their ideas and just organically build their business plan. Fast forward 8.5 years later, we'll be saying now, this is what we do. The developments are getting too big. Things got too hectic, too much to look for. And God's calling and saying, no, I need you to teach the people this right here. Stay here. This is what you're good at. And I love teaching. I love coaching. And here we are.
And we can tell. It's so important for you to be doing, especially now. One thing that I like to say is don't waste your time doing something that you're not passionate about and that you don't love, because that's not the time. This is not the time to do those things. I know sometimes we talk about plan B, C, D, but this is the time where we need people connecting to the community that they're really called to. And passion is automatically going to be with that, but the plan is not necessarily automatically going to be there. So specifically for minorities, I know sometimes we have an idea and we really sometimes don't necessarily know the steps from idea to okay, now it's here, it's created, it's done. And the planning is the first step. Like you said, you have to be able to show someone, now you have this idea, but you also have to be able to show them what it looks like, because they can't see what's inside of your head. So what does that look like? What does success look like? How are you going to measure that? Those are all the things that are talked about in the business plan, correct?
Yeah. Yes, it is. It is. You have to definitely be able to. This is the construct I would give anyone. And I've been in these settings, so I can give it to you as raw and as real as possible. You're the banker, Tracy. I am the business owner, right? You're telling me, okay, Austin, I'm going to give you the $50,000 you're looking for, or the $500,000 that you're looking for. What are you going to do with it? Go. And you got 30 seconds to convince that banker, once I give you this money, you can service this debt and become sustainable and profitable. If you stutter during that session, you don't know what you're doing. And people get really jarred when I say that, like, well, no, coach, I know what I'm doing. And that doesn't sound good. Don't say that. No, you really have to approach it that way, though. So when you're in that parking lot and you're about to walk into that angel investor's office or whatever you're doing, you have to know your business inside and out, and especially from that angle. Yeah,
absolutely. That's so important. And it's so important for you to almost be, I was telling this story a little while ago. Actually, I just spoke last week at one of our nonprofit Zoom sessions. And I was just jokingly saying, the person was asking me, hey, are you ready? It'll be next week and stuff. And I just jokingly said, I'm always ready. Because I know what my passion is. I know what my purpose is. I know the transformation I provide. I know the value I provide. If you know those things, you're always ready to give them to someone who that's where that opportunity meets preparation. So you should always be preparing. Have you ever prepared your elevator speech in the mirror? Or
yes, often. I do it now. I do it now before we do these lives. I kind of go through, give me some, I just can't go. I mean, I can do this thing off the top of my head. Yes. But to really give people what they need from me, yes, I have to be prepared. Even at this stage of the game, as an expert in this field, I still have to be prepared. Still, I was outside yesterday because I'm in Louisiana now, and we're doing some hurricane relief cleanup with my family. So I'm doing a power washer, and I'm practicing in my head. What do they need to know? What's the newest thing? How do I need to approach this? Oh, yes, I'm always in preparation mode. Always
in that preparation mode. That's awesome. Now, so today specifically, we're going to be talking about products and services, but I just wanted to hone in on that planning piece, because I feel like the reason we're talking about products and services for nonprofits and or businesses is because it's so important, in my opinion, right now, for you to have something of your own, for you to be self-sustained, for you to have, whether it's a business or a nonprofit, for you to understand the value that you bring and make sure that you're getting paid and getting income based on that value, getting paid what you're worth. I think that that's the area specifically in minorities where we need to grow. And so talking about developing a business, when you talk about developing a business, you automatically think products and services. But sometimes when people talk about nonprofit, they don't automatically think products and services. They think like, okay, grants is the first thing that comes to their mind, or, or shelters or giving, but they don't think you can also tie products and services. So one of the things we were talking about last week was, Starbucks is a nonprofit organization, Tom's, which has shoes tied to their organization, and churches have products and services as well, with books and conferences and things like that. What are you seeing as a business coach right now, the products and services that are, I guess, the easiest to get started with? Are you seeing some themes and some trends? Talk a little bit about somebody who's just getting started and they're trying to figure out what types of products and services to add to their business or nonprofit.
Good question. Good topic. I would say, and I do get that question a lot. What is the easiest, right? As far as market penetration, what's the easiest thing I can get into? How's that going to work for me? This, that, and the other. What's easiest for you is what you do best. Let's just put that on the table. So I may not do T-shirts as well. You may come off the table. You can sell ice and Eskimo. Okay. What is it that you do well? What's your passion? What is your drive? Some people don't care what they're selling. They can just sell it and they get happy with the end result of selling a product. Okay, cool. That's great. Some people are better speakers or better service providers or their hair and beauty. One of my clients is his product is in Walmart stores now, and he just launched his next line of products that he does hair and beauty. He's a barber, but he's an inventor, hair and beauty products. He can sell anything, but that's his thing. So I'm like, I have to keep him focused on that. So to answer the question of that, what's easy for me isn't going to be easy for you. But what we have to do is figure out, where's my love at? What do I love to do and deal around? Because when it gets down to the minutia and the nasty, grindy part of it that you and I both know comes with any business.
Yeah.
You have to be called to do it, and you have to be comfortable in putting in that work late at night, early in the morning, or when you don't feel like it, you're good with whatever that product or service is that you're bringing to the market. So you've got to internalize this and say, what do I need to do? What do I like? What do I bring? Because only you bring you to the market. And that's one thing I think a lot of us forget. Nobody can be Coach Austin. So I'm an expert at being me, but I can't be the next guy on Instagram. I can't be Tracy. Tracy's excellent at being Tracy. But when we collaborate, okay, now we got a power team, right? So you have to be the general manager, the coach of your own team, of your own brand. So I can't answer what's best, what's trendy, because what's trendy now won't be trendy tomorrow. But what I would advise people to do is, and again, I'm glad you said what's trendy, because we get off on what's trendy, and oftentimes by the time it's trendy, you don't know how long it took for it to get to market. So now you're hopping on the game late, like buying a stock that's already up on the market. You don't buy late, you buy early. So get into what you bring to the market and what you can have, and now it's sustainable. Again, I've been doing this stuff for 15 years. If you would have told me I'm a business coach in 2005, now I'd be a business coach in 2020 on a live with Tracy. I was like, no, you're not. I'm not talking to these people online. Heck, no. I want to do this. I want to stay out the way. I'm fine. So that being said, figure out what you do best. Hone in on that. And that's where we tie into, and if I can dovetail into this, the market feasibility study is just as, and even probably more important than your business plan. Write this down. Right there.
Two things
Please.
that stood out for me. Number one, that foundation. The foundation is not what's going good in the market, what's making money necessarily right now. You don't start there. You don't start with that market, and then now I'm going to teeter my thing around what I think is doing good in the market, because the market is constantly changing. So you'll be all over the place a little bit. But you start with the foundation of what brings you joy. What do you already study? What would you study for fun anyway? You know, if you're good at social media, if you're just somebody who's on social media often, you probably have a lot of information and a lot of education when it comes to social media, and you may have never thought about monetizing that. Well, there are social media managers, or you can determine, hey, since I'm so good at this, maybe I'll build a following and go ahead and start to think about some products and services I can add. Think about the things that come natural to you outside of the monetization thought first. You know, because those things, that way you start with the easiest foundation, because if you find that first, then the monetization part is easy. You know, you'll be like, whatever you get paid for, you'll be like, oh, wow, I was having fun. I was connecting with people that I love to connect to anyway. I was doing what I was doing for my friends anyway. Oh, I got paid for that? Okay, awesome. You know, so that's a good point right there. I want to make sure they write that down as well, that the foundation is, what are you called to? What's the areas that you feel like you're most educated in? What are the areas that that you bring the most value to, that people come to you for help about? And then number two, you were talking about market research, correct? Tell me a little bit about, and so we'll go a little bit into that.
Yeah, so market research. So the market now, right? Everything is digital. If you like it or not, it is what it is. Your phone and your computer and your Wi-Fi are your ATM machine, basically. So brick and mortars are going out of business. And there's people that I follow who are mentoring me even, that are, again, and I'm noticing it, but brick and mortars are going away. So a lot of these mall stores, things are shifting to discount stores, the things of that nature. Is it because of COVID? Is it because of whatever? No, tech has been coming. Look at the tech stocks even. Look at the market and what stocks are up, what stocks are down, what's going on here, what's going on there. So long story short, we are digital. So whatever it is that you're doing, make sure that your digital platform is part of your foundation. Had a conversation with someone, and I hope she doesn't get mad for me for saying this. I won't mention the name, but we have to make sure that our website is our storefront. So part of your foundation, before you even start do market research, market feasibility study, and do market research on what do the websites need to look like. So if I'm going to go into t-shirt branding, I need to see who the top dog is in t-shirts and apparel online, and I need to model myself after that person.
Don't reinvent the wheel. That's what I'm hearing you say. Yeah, don't reinvent the wheel. You don't have to. You don't have to go out here just by yourself and look at what's already going on. And like you said, looking at that t-shirt area and, okay, I'm excited about this. I'm passionate about this. And this is the t-shirt. This is what the marketing is doing. This is what people are able to provide for this price, for this quality. Asking yourself the simple question, but sometimes hard question, which is, can I compete with that? And why can I compete with that? What makes me unique to be able to, is this a market that I'm ready to get into and ready to compete? And why would I, as a consumer of this product, or asking my friends or the people around me, why would you purchase this as opposed to these other brands who are possibly already doing it well, or already have a high, just have already been doing it for a long time, so they can purchase more product and things like that, especially depending upon what your budget is.
Exactly. Yeah. We definitely have to start to realize two things. Oftentimes people get afraid, and this is from experience I'm having with current clients or current consultations that I'll have. People get worried about, oh, well, this market is too big, or everybody's doing it. Well, let's stop with our feelings. I think, I believe, I don't know. It's coming from what you experience. Stop that. The market could be so big, you can't have your market cap space could be this much. Your market cap space could be 5%, 20%. You don't know. So the market feasibility study it'll show you how feasible, i.e. market feasibility study, it'll show you how feasible your product, your service is to the market. It'll show you how big the market is. It'll show you how many people are buying, who's buying, why they're buying, focus groups, things of that nature that you can do to see, okay, when I do this is going to be my target market. This is going to be my secondary market, things of that nature. So you want to start there first. It can cost you, but it shouldn't. Once we're done, you can follow me and I can show you the easiest way to get that done. The most cost-effective way to get that done. Because they do cost. Big companies pay a lot. So if you Google market feasibility study, you'll see, oh my God, it costs too much. I can't do that. No, there's certain things you can do on your own. There's certain things you can hire somebody to do. But it should tell you, okay, the numbers say this. Okay, so if I do this, this will happen. If I do this, this will happen. Cool. That's your start. That's your start. The next start needs to be your mindset in and around that time, if not first. You have to go from the 9-to-5 mindset to a true entrepreneurial mindset, which means your customer comes first. It's not what you think. Like you're going to put a slogan on a shirt, right? I see this too much. I like the slogan. That's great, but does Tracy like it? Does so-and-so like it? And who am I marketing this to in the first place? So when I put these slogans on, or when I put the social media marketing out, will people gravitate to that? If we get that part done first, failure is not so prevalent a year or two down the road. What's going on? I don't understand what happened to my product. I like it. It looked good. You would have answered that question a long time ago.
Absolutely.
So that's level one right there. Get your mindset together and do the proper research before you get out the gate.
And what I'm hearing you saying is filling a gap as well. Filling a gap, making sure that you're actually looking at, and that's what that market research is going to do, is make sure that you actually have you want to be solving a problem. You know, there's a quote, I forget the name of the movie, that says a business is, if you want to start a business, find a problem and solve it. Same thing about a service, and same thing about a product is find a problem and solve it. So that's what you're saying when you say study the market. The market is the market. They're buying. Just like donors are donating, you know, whether or not you can get in there and make sure that you have the right things in place to be able to receive some of those donations, or to be able to get your products, basically make your client happy. Like you said, the number one is the client. You can love it all you want, but a business means you're servicing someone. So you want to
Yes,
make
and
sure
yes.
that they are obtaining some type of value, and if it's a product, they are getting out of that product what they expect in those types of products. So,
Yes, yes. Right before we got into business coaching, when people were asking me to write business plans for them, there was a certain point, and I don't discuss this a whole lot, but there was a certain point for about a month. I sat back and like, okay, what's going on? There's real estate development that's happening. It does pay, but it's this, it's that. And I'm getting a lot of flux. Let me look at and see. Let me just throw out a couple of things and see how many more people need this. Because I'm getting it and I didn't see it coming, but let me see if I can maximize this because I'm good with it. I like it. And I took about 2 or 3 months and just kind of put the feelers out there to see how many people were doing this and how many people needed it. And to this day, it's still, there's so many people. They're not as like subcategories of entrepreneurs who need entrepreneurial training, small businesses who need small business education, medium. So everybody really needs something of another. So I had to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? Who am I going to focus on? And then people say, well, John, you can go focus on, so-and-so, they pay more, or this or that, this or that. But my focus is that newbie business, people that are just starting, right? Those that may have started businesses seasoned enough, but haven't really taken off like they need to. And those that want to scale, but just don't know how. They all need the same basic service in my mind. So I can go ahead and create that for them. So with that being said, if you're starting your own business, this is where you want to begin. Yes. If you begin right, you need to begin with the ability to scale. Okay, absolutely. What problem am I going to solve? How am I going to solve it? I'm good with that. I'm happy with that. Okay, cool. How do I build my foundation so that I can scale when it's time?
And that focus is so important that you just said. I want to make sure that point hones in. Another thing to write down is you just described your target market, your target avatar, the problems that you are solving. That step gets missed so many times, especially in service-based businesses. Someone may say something general like, I just really want to help people. Or I want to help people like me. Well, okay, we need to go a little bit deeper. What exactly does that look like? What does that person look like? And as soon as you find out, as soon as you do get that first person and it's not always, a lot of times when you're entering into the entrepreneurial area for the first time, you enter into it with that mindset is so important. And you talked about the mindset of that 9 to 5. And so what I noticed with the mindset of employee sometimes is this is a job. Almost it's supposed to be a little frustrating or hard, but as long as I get the paycheck, it's fine. Not necessarily. You can be doing something that you really love and you're really passionate about as well. And so it's so important to kind of like switch those mindset things and make sure that you are focused and you are honed in on your specific target of people that you're helping. Because if you're helping everybody is one thing that a lot of people say. If you're helping everybody, you'll never sometimes get to really help the people you're actually called to help because that kind of has that super busy mindset. But if you're focused and you're focused on the people that you're really wanting to serve, it makes everything else easier, and you'll be able to serve much more people than you've been able to serve, especially digitally. Last week we did, and thank you so much. Welcome again to everybody who's joining us from last week. We have a couple of people from YouTube on here. Awesome. This is our new Facebook has been the thing, but now we get to be on YouTube, which is great. So welcome to all of our YouTube family. Over 6,000 people now watch that. So digitally, that's just an example. Wow. Digitally, you were able to, we were able to touch and to affect and to cause transformation in 6,000 people at a time. That was a much more productive way to do that, as opposed to me going and talking to people individually, one at a time, helping them and changing and things like that. So that's just a good point that you mentioned as well. So you were talking a little bit about the products and services steps. So we started number one with the foundation of making sure that it is something that you're passionate about, something that you enjoy, something that you feel like you have value and you add value in. Number two, you talked about researching. And then number three, we talked about making sure it's about your client. It's not about you. It's about the client, So, and I just want to add one more part to that, making sure it's about your client, which is an easy, simple way to do a little market research if you're on a real tight budget, is to just test or sample. Test the subject. See if people start to react. Are they watching? Are they listening? If you go live and no one is listening, then this is definitely probably not a subject that people are very interested in, or that people aren't necessarily, this problem isn't maybe necessarily a problem that you may be the fit to solve. So make sure that you just announce the
Yeah,
problem, try to help the people live that you're trying to that you're called to. So for an example,
exactly.
we have a lot of nonprofits called to women empowerment. What
Hmm.
are some tips that you can give to feel empowered as a woman? Go ahead and shoot that
Exactly.
video. That's some market research as well. What other tips
Hmm.
can you give for people who, when they hear the word market research or market analyst and things like that, they just think, oh my goodness, I'm way before that stage where I feel like I could do something like that.
Um, if you think you're way before that stage, you shouldn't be in business, for one. But again, this is the business education part. So everybody delve into this. All right. Um, and this is organic. So I'm gonna go from the front to the back with this. So if you're looking to get into a market and you're going to sell a product or a service to anyone, become the client, become the customer, go on your IGs and your Facebooks and your LinkedIn's and see who else is talking about it. See what else, what other language, what other conversations are being had. Because you want to be, and this is where the vulnerability comes in. People are like, well, I don't want to really delve in and see who else is doing this because they may be better than me. I hope they are, because you're just starting. So you want to see how good everybody is. You want to see what they're saying anyway. So don't look at it from how good they are. Just look at what's being said. And I'll kind of dovetail it on what I do. I go out often and see who else is business coaching, who else is talking to whomever. There's millions of people out here. If someone's got 150,000 followers, oh, that's cool because I can have the other 2.5 million followers. Look at it from that angle. So one of the things, write this down, Google My Business. It's a free service with Google. It allows you to be as broad as possible. Google gives you a ton of services, a ton of free outlets. Google My Business, go on there, set you up an account. They'll mail you a pin. Actually, and when this is done on my Instagram page, I have when I got mine in. They'll give you a pin code. They'll mail it to your house because now everybody's home. So they're allowing houses to be, home front offices. You'll get your pin code, you'll put it in, and it'll open up all the Google My Business services. They'll also open up Google Analytics. Take the videos, just let it digest the information. It's all new. It's all going to be fresh. So don't freak out, but get you. And the funny thing about it, what do I have this morning? A pen and paper of notes that I have of what we're going to talk about. Get you a pen and paper and start writing stuff down. So let's kind of backtrack, but I gotta get more into this, right? So Google My Business, get into that, see who else is out there doing what you're doing, whatever it is that you're doing. And you want to consistently keep an eye on what you're doing. Because one of the things in the business plan is called a SWOT. No, not SWOT that you see on TV with everything, but no, a SWOT analysis. Some have heard of it, some haven't. If you haven't, get into it. It is part of the business plan, which is what we're going to talk about right after this particular conversation. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I'm always looking at what my strengths are and be honest. Come on, we got to be honest with ourselves. Put the humility hat on. What am I good at? That's my strengths. What am I weak at? Okay, I'm not so good at this. Sometimes I talk too fast. My southern drawl kicks in from time to time, yada, yada. So I've got to work on those kind of things. Sometimes I can get going so much, I forget to slow down and pay attention to what's going on around me to make sure that I'm keeping up with things. Opportunities in the market. Where are my opportunities at? The feasibility study keeps telling you that. So the feasibility study almost is a constant running kind of a deal. You do one, you work off the research. You do another one, you work off the research. And then the threats. Who are the big boys? Who are the players, right? So if you're coming into a business coaching space, am I a threat to you? Can you collaborate with me? Trust and believe there's enough people out there we can all service enough in that space.
Absolutely.
But in some spaces, there may not be. So you may have to be careful because they may buy you out. They may push enough pressure in to where you can squeeze you out. And like what Amazon's doing to a lot of people, Amazon's squeezing just like Walmart did. They can squeeze you out of the market. So you've got to be aware of those things to know how to pivot. Now things are digital. So the digital market is forcing people to do certain things. So it could be a threat if you allow it to be. So just understanding that piece of it, that's where you want to be able to start. Now let's zoom into the business plan. Don't ever tell anybody, or don't let anybody ever tell you that a one-page business plan is enough. Don't do that. because I guarantee you, if the average business needs whatever line of credit, 50,000, 150,000, half a million, whatever you need, quit thinking about it as money and more as a number and a tool that has to be injected into your business that allows you to do certain things. That's all money is. That's all money is. Because when you're doing your balance sheet, you're filling out numbers. When you're doing your pro forma, it's numbers. If you understand the numbers, you understand how to maneuver. Get that out the way. If you, and you're gonna get mad at me for saying this, but if you're too lazy to do a business plan, you're too lazy to do business, go stick with your 9 to 5. It's cool because you're gonna get frustrated and pissed off. And what some of you are gonna do, you can get in your feelings and get mad at the person that's trying to help you because you're too lazy to do the work. I've done 100 consultations, some of them for free. Most of them for free. I'll give the people the homework to do. I'll check back in a week, 2 weeks, the homework hadn't been done. Some of them are emailing me so much in the middle of the night sometimes. I'll wake up in the morning, I got a bunch of emails. I'm like, yeah, they want it. So if you want to do the work, if you really want it like that, if you want generational wealth and all these things that people say are cute now, put in the work and I guarantee you it will be fruitful. I'm a country boy from Louisiana. So how in the heck am I supposed to take a business from my garage to overseas, take the L's that I've taken, and then still be where I'm at teaching you right now? It takes work. But like I said in the beginning, what did we first say in the beginning? If you're passionate about it, and if you love it like that, it's not going to be work. Feel like, why are you on your phone? Yeah, it's not. It's not about work. It's not about work. It's never about work.
Absolutely. It's a labor of love. You know, it's a labor of love. You're connecting with people. We've connected through business, you know, and so you meet all these people that are tied to your passions as well. And you're basically finding ways that you can help each other, that you can be able to help them and elevate some of the things that they're doing that you're not doing, and vice versa, you know. And so, like you said, that's a labor of love. Joy said, preach. Yep. This is really good stuff. Thank you, Joy. We really appreciate that support there. And it is good. That planning, that's one of the steps that a lot of times our people skip, is that planning step. That is crucial. It's absolutely crucial. And it shows even if, because I like to say, some people say entrepreneurs like building I don't know who created this quote, building a parachute after you jump out the plane and building it on your way down. And I will say, from the unlikely entrepreneurial aspect, I started my first business when I was 10 years old. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what a business plan was. I didn't know, any of this stuff. And so, and then I did not go to school for business. I went to school for teaching, for childcare, and ended up starting a daycare, which was my first real lesson in business, because I was working at a daycare and I was getting paid, I think at that time, like $8 an hour or something. And I started counting her money. Like, oh, this how much, this how much she charged for $200 a week. I got the whole class. It's 20 people in the class, and they my class. But wait a minute, these numbers don't add up. So it just
they add up, all right. They're gonna add up for you.
And so I was like, oh wow, that's a need. A need is childcare. It will never not be a need. No matter if things are going well and people need to go to work, they need childcare. If things are not going well and they need to look for working, they need childcare, and we're going to always be having babies, So that marketing, I got into that marketing, I learned business from that aspect, and I really just decided and deciphered that it wasn't bringing me as much joy because I wanted to travel. I wanted to be there for my family. That's why I started the business. And when it comes to children, that responsibility, and even if you have staff, it's a lot heavier than when you're dealing with adults. And so I just decided that I wanted to be able to do something I could really travel with and I could do virtually. And that's how I ended up kind of taking that turn. But I realized, for instance, let me give you a little story about the childcare and planning. Because I didn't have the proper plans in place, there's a lot of things you may bump your head on that was not even necessary if you had did the planning first. And so that's why it's so important, while we're coming back and saying, take the time to build that foundation and understand which direction you're going in before you start going in that direction, And so, for example, I started hiring in my daycare, and I was so excited. This was my first time. This is like 20 years ago. This is my first time hiring. I've always wanted to hire. This is going to be great. And so I started hiring in individuals. People would tell me all different types of stories I never hired before. Did I plan and look at what I was supposed to do? No, I just jumped in there. Well, what I found was, okay, Tracy, you forgot to put into place different plans and different expectations that are needed. So when I had someone on their phone all the time, when we're watching kids outside, anything happen at any point in time, I was like, oh, wait a minute, I should have put in a plan that they signed that you're not supposed to be on your phone. You're not supposed to, you need to watch. And then it wouldn't be as confrontational because they saw that in the plan at the beginning. So it's just so important to take a step back and build that foundation. But I have to put this out here and get your opinion on it. Do you think that there are a group of people that are over planners as well? That sometimes you can get stuck in that planning stage?
They can, and I think those are the ones that are more fearful. They have a skepticism about them. They have a fear about them because they're overthinkers, over planners, and they're not actionable enough. So one of the things I find that I like about being a coach is that I can give you the game plan, but I'll spoon feed it to you because I know exactly pretty much how much you can take at one time. So when I have consultations or when I have my class, I have a class starting next week, and I'll break down the class as far as I know how much you're going to receive. Even from this live, they're going to receive only so much. So when I say take out your pen and paper, write it down so it stays with you. But yeah, there are a lot of people that are over planners, and it's not a bad thing. They just have to compartmentalize that planning. Plan it, then put in there somewhere, when am I going to actually manifest this plan, right? Yeah. So, so even for right now, the business plan type people, get the business plan software, get started with it, but you want to have a time when you're going to implement this plan. Planning is fine, and you feel comfortable in that plan. I'm about to get started. I'm too scared to get out there, because if I do and say I fail, no, failing is quitting. So if you're not quitting, then you're not failing. Then you're fall down.
Exactly. And you're constantly learning, and just adding those action steps. That's what I found, because I can get into those zones as well sometimes. In planning mode, where it is something that I enjoy doing, but at the same point in time, I can get in the modes where I'm just taking action without a plan. But one thing I found is the best thing to do is to have a plan, then break it down to what does that look like per year? What does that look like per quarter? What does that look like per month, as far as what do I need to reach to attain that goal, all the way down to your week and your days. And that's when you do time blocking. And that's when you're like, okay, so now I need to put this time in, this little bitty baby step, because it's all tied to this plan that maybe a 5-year plan, and so that's kind of the way it works, to be able to take the action and to plan and to do that in a balanced way.
I'll say this. You mentioned the 5-year plan, right? So we're talking about nonprofits mainly here, right? As far as products and services. If anybody wants to put a thumbs up in the chat box, who knew the National Football League was a nonprofit?
Yeah, absolutely. So, who knew that? Yeah, that's a common misconception.
Common. So they're a nonprofit. But what I would like for everybody to do, nonprofit or not, you're the nonprofit expert. Right, I'm interested to see how many people knew that the NFL was a nonprofit, but they still operate as a business. So your tax election, S corp, C corp, nonprofit, LLC, LLP, get with the Tracys of the world, let them figure that out for you. But you still have to function as a business. You mentioned the 5-year plan. Again, free note: Business Plan Pro software. Don't get the expensive one. Get the $30 one. Get the $29.95 one, or go on Amazon and get the one from 4 or 5 years ago. Business Plan Pro. They've been doing this stuff for a while. That's the second tier. Go to Score. Go to Score. SCORE. SC, S as in Sam, C as in Charlie, ORE. They have a free template. If y'all need one, I'll go ahead and send you one, Tracy, of the business plan template that I use. Okay. The 5-year plan, the 7-year plan, the 1-year plan. It all starts from, you need to write down and answer those questions in that business plan template first. That'll give you an idea of where you need to be. It'll give you the broad scope. Okay, my 7-year plan is this, my 5-year plan is this, my 3-year, my 1 year, right? Like we said on the live a not too long ago, we talked about time management. Every Sunday, I sit down and I write out my week, right? And I go through my Monday, Tuesday, whatever. I got certain days I do certain things. The next acronym I want everybody to put down is SYSTEM. SYSTEM. Save yourself time and money. but you have to have systems in place. You
Yes.
can't do everything, but you're ultimately going to do everything, because as a person who hires, right? Every CEO is going to hire somebody, but you have to understand the systems and how your business is working to understand who you need to hire for what. I'm not the branding marketing person, but I understand that before you get your business started, do not start marketing right away. Don't do that. Don't do that. I need to start marketing. No, you need to develop a brand. People need to know who you are first. Your brand needs to speak to the market before you even get out there. How do I know what my brand needs to look like? Yeah, well, look at it, see what everybody else is doing, and then put your personality to it, put your brand together, and bam, let it come out to you. So before you get off this live, you'll know who you are and who I am.
That's
our brand
good.
is to speak.
That's good that the brand is speak, because if you go in and you start marketing first, the first thing, even if you have a great product, even if you have a great service, people don't know you, people don't trust you, people don't know why they should purchase your service or you're building a relationship. Actually, and this is funny, my 18-year-old just asked me this question about one of the real popular gender what is it, Kardashians or something like that, and he was like, if someone doesn't have to build income anymore and stuff like that, why do they keep posting? It's not like they need to say new post. People see they post all the time. And we were saying that it's about the relationship. No one wants to see you selling them something every time they see you. They want to build that relationship even more now than ever, because these are our relationships. You are not getting to talk to people whom you don't know or whom is not in your inner circle face to face, without a mask on right now. And so these are actually possibly more genuine relationships that we are building right now than we can build with everything that's going on right now. And so so it's just so imperative for people to build that plan first, but then start to, like you said, start to build that brand while you're building the plan. Build the brand of what your message is. For me, service-based is transformation. Transformation, you don't have to sell. Transformation, you don't have to, my earphones fell out. There we go. But like I said, transformation, you don't have to sell. It sells itself. If you have figured out a way to transform something in your life, and you can break that down and figure out how to create a course or how to create some steps or how to be able to motivate someone else to create that same transformation and change, you'll never have to sell anything again. So building that brand is so important. How long do you build your brand before because a lot of times you come from 9 to 5 to entrepreneurship, and sometimes you're just like, okay, but with 9 to 5, I know when I get my paycheck. I know when I'm going to get paid. And a lot of times that kind of confuses people, like, but when am I going to get paid? But I got to sell this product because I just came out here. I talked about something. So I'm supposed to get paid right now, because that's how the 9 to 5 mindset has taught you. So how do you get out of that?
Time, patience, breathe, and keep the 9 to 5. And this is the $500 an hour advice. I hope y'all taking notes, really, because expectations and perspective are the keys to initial wisdom. Okay. What are you expecting from this? What are your perspectives on what's going on? You can't be me at 15 years into this thing. And again, I've had clients over this whole globe. I've taken the first class trips, sat in banks where I had my sponsor translate stuff for me. Been in conferences where people wait 2-3 hours to talk to me after it's over. Spoken at global summits where you've got the microphone in your ear and the people in China said the joke, but everybody else laughs later because the translator took a minute. I've experienced those things. Thank God. It's none of that. I'm just trying to give you perspective. So if you're just starting, everybody that's on this particular live who's watching, if you follow our advice, you can be where I'm at in 5 years, not 15. If you just hone in and just take your time with it, give yourself at least a year or two. Everybody, the air just went out the room for some people. A year or two. Oh, I want to make money now. It don't work like that. So please be careful with the whole instant gratification of some people putting stuff on Instagram and then their homeboy posted something about, oh yeah, I made $7,000 this month. That's great. And that's very possible. But what I want to see is sustainability. Have you been doing this $7,000 a month for the last 3 to 4 or 5 years? 6 years? And will you be doing this for a long term? I don't know. I want to see that. And sometimes I'll jump in these little comments. I'll make comments. Never get an answer back though. But what you want to have is sustainability in your business. You can't learn a business because you have to go through a cyclical pattern first. Everybody's business is seasonal. So you've got to at least hit a cyclical pattern and a half. Now, go on somebody's Facebook page and Instagram page and tell me who's saying that right now. Nobody, not necessarily. So, customer service and certain little things you have to just learn about your business. Just learn how the year works. That's why the market feasibility study, if you do more market research and see who is in your market and what they're doing, it'll speed up where you need to be, but you got to take it in. So when you go to your job, everybody now who has a 9-to-5, when you go to your job on Monday, you're not tripping. Turn on the robot mode, be employed a month, do what you got to do. On that 15-minute break, you're taking notes. On that lunch break, your homegirl might be saying, "Boo, let's go eat lunch. Let's do this, let's do that." Nah, boy, I got some stuff to do. Oh, she thinks she's better than everybody else. Well, you might think so, but go and eat at Chick-fil-A every day or whatever. It's not going to help you get your business off the ground. But if you take that time on your lunch breaks, on your way home, have a podcast going in your ear to something that'll put into your system an entrepreneurial mindset. I can give you a list of them. Tracy probably do the same thing. What we put into our systems, you've got to detox.
That's a whole other video that I would love for us to just dive.
Let's do it.
Is into mindset because that is huge. Mindset is huge. And the tough part about mindset is that you're in your mind, so you have a blind spot. A lot of times you can't see the programs that you're playing that's causing you to have this reality right now because it's your program. So it's really, really hard to see. So sometimes that's when partnering with a coach or accountability partner, even someone just close to you to really work some things out. How many times have you even had someone call you up, a friend, a family member, or even in a coaching situation, and they've talked the thing out and you realize they say, "Oh, okay, thank you so much." And you realize you haven't said much of anything. They've just processed out and been able to see the problem through reflecting off of someone else as well. A powerful mindset moment for me was probably about 10, 15 years ago when I was transitioning out of the childcare and into wanting to do something that I can do from anywhere. And that's how I got into nonprofit coaching, business coaching, and then nonprofit coaching. And I got a coach, a mindset coach. So that's an important note that people who, when you're trying to do something powerful, when you're trying to make transformation, when you're trying to make change, you partner with someone who's been there, done that. Yeah. That's not reinventing the wheel. So I got a coach, a money coach, because I don't come from good money mindset programming. I grew up in Detroit. I grew up in the hood, and I grew up with a whole different mentality. So my coach asked me a question. I don't remember the whole session, but I remember the question she asked that just broke a huge wall for me. And the question was, she said, well, I take it back. I don't remember the question. I remember my answer. And my answer was, she said, well, what do you really want to do? That's what the question was. And my answer was, well, if I could do anything, I would ... And I don't even remember what I said after that, because the part that she honed on in that I brushed by, that I said all the time, was if I can do anything. And she was like, that's an interesting statement that you make, if you can do anything. Why do we make that statement? Why do we assume that we can't do anything? And that just hones in on some of that mindset stuff, little bitty things that may be blocking you in your path to growing a business, to being an entrepreneur. Because if you could just throw out a percentage, I don't know what the actual facts are, but how much of this do you think is mindset?
90. The last time I did a study on it, it's about 92.3.
And that's that range. I was not thinking that at all.
No. And that's the thing. Well, I'm teaching these little classes now. So I'm teaching a class strictly on entrepreneurial mindset. Strictly on entrepreneurial mindset. And a lot of it's mindset. Almost the point you made earlier about the Kardashians, why they keep posting the way they're posting, so that people can have a mind, people don't forget who they are. But if you stop advertising, per se, and stop putting your brain out there and stop relating to people, people will forget who you are. And the person that may not even have a good product or service, but looks good, feels good, is soft to be around, they'll gravitate towards that because it's easy and palatable, right? Absolutely. So if I'm palatable, and if you feel that, hey, I can get something from Coach, I can get something from Tracy. She's great. She's this, she's that. You may not be the best at functionally doing what you're doing, but oh my God, imagine if you were both. So there's no reason why, if you tell me, and this is maybe just me, but you can't tell me what I can't do.
Mm-hmm.
And please don't even try to tell me what I can't do, because I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna be real quiet about it, and you're gonna see me flying by you like 80 miles an hour. Like, he did that. Yeah, he did that. Why you sitting by that? So people that say, and I hope everybody takes this in. Nobody can tell you what you can't do but you. And but listen to that part. Nobody can tell you what you can't do. But so if you tell yourself, no, I can't, if those self-defeating thoughts sink in, then you're pretty much not gonna do it. But if you tell yourself, I'm going to do it, I've gotten to a point where I don't just say, I'm going to do it. I've already thought about how I'm going to get it done, and I'm planning to get it done, and I'm doing it. And then my issue, I just pull back a little bit sometimes. So as an entrepreneur, especially the newbies out there, the ones that are kind of getting started, don't let any of this stuff scare you. Don't let COVID scare you. Don't let, if anything, plan for the next recession that's coming. Plan for, okay, how am I going to position myself now? Branding and positioning, write it down. Branding and positioning is important. The market feasibility study to show you where you're going to fall, where you're going to position yourself, how you position yourself. Yes, get with one of us to understand the psychology of this stuff, because there's artificial intelligence out there that I'm actually have in my computer that allows me to send an email out. And I know all my clients' personality types. When I send an email out, it will change the email to speak to you.
Send me that email. We'll talk about that after.
Oh, yeah. Not everybody can have it, but just understand how you're being talked to. Understand how you're being. So if you understand the psychology of who you're dealing with and how you're dealing with it, there's nothing you can't do.
So
if people understood how really easy entrepreneurship is. So now everybody that's going to work next week, people say, well, I won't be able. No, one client said this to me. He said, and I hope we don't run over, but this is important. He said, I can't wait till I'm about 3 years in and making money. I can be free from my job. And I said, nah, bro, you're free the minute you say you're going to start your own business. You work the job, but now you can mentally detach from it because it's not all that you're doing.
Absolutely.
So if it's a hobby, if it's a side hustle, but you're really passionate about it, why don't you just create a business out of it? Let it be part-time, because you really shouldn't quit your job until you're at least 3 times earnings anyway. So if you're making $50,000 a year, your business should at least be creating positive cash flow, a net of 150, so you can move away. You've understood your cyclical patterns, so you understand here's my up season, my down season. Because people quit their job too soon, they didn't hit that cyclical pattern. They don't understand when their business is falling as far as sales. You don't get discouraged, you understand it. So if you just get that part togetger, you're fine. Now, if you get laid off, if things happen, you can dive in.
You know, the job that you're at. Hopefully it's something that pops. Anything, it's a business. Okay,
that's my next.
When did it start? How did it go? How do they handle clients? What type of systems do they have in place? You know, it's just that people go to a place to learn what's going on. So use that as an opportunity while you're there, wherever you're at. There's going to be something you pick up for your business as well. So like you said, follow that mindset. Absolutely.
It is mindset, and how you're going to take action on what you've been learning. Go talk to your HR person. Go talk to one of the execs. Understand how the business is working. Don't just be the employee. Now you need to see the world for what it is. Look at CNBC. Watch different. Again, it's once you open that thing up, it's like, oh snap, it's going down now. And just go. I'm telling you, just go with it. But find you a coach first. Get your business plan in place. Get the market studies together. But honestly, before any of this happens, and I'm not just pitching my services or even Tracy's, get with somebody who's been where you're going to go. Do not, please, and Tracy, let me say this, do not take advice from somebody just because he's cute or just because she got a shape or whatever. Whatever. Don't take advice from someone who has not been where you're looking to go. I'm going to say it again. Do not take advice from someone who has not been where you're looking to go. And how do you know where you're looking to go? Sit down and start writing that thing out. All the advice we gave you today, if you don't make notes of this thing and turn into at least 5 pages of notes, you're kind of wasting your time.
Yeah,
within and out. But if you do, watch what's going to happen.
Absolutely, because you're constantly training your subconscious. So we have a lot of things going on. So I specifically like to say I don't trust my memory. I make sure I write almost every single thing down. If it comes to me as important, I write it down because I don't even want to give, I want to be able to fully relax and not think, oh, let me make sure I'm remembering this, make sure I'm remembering this. Everything is getting jotted down and remembering that when you write it down, you've already taken an action step. You've already started by deciding I'm going to put pencil to paper, or I'm going to write it into a Trello board or write it into an app. I'm going to start with at least getting this thing written down. Now, from there, I can move to the next step and move to the next step. But that is step one, and I don't want people to brush over that step. Sometimes they think they're just, again, moving too fast. You have to stay in the step you're in. That's my favorite quote, is stay in the step you're in.
And use your pen. Use your pen. And you can Google this if you want to. Entrepreneurs are very creative people. We all are. Don't type all your notes in. Write your notes in. There's a part of the brain that they're noticing, and this is studied by Stanford. This is studied by Nova Linda Hospital, that children are losing their creativity because they're not learning to write cursive. There's a part of your brain that is tied into writing. When you're physically writing, the creative part of your brain is functioning. So when you color or things of that nature, if you're just typing and staying digital, you're losing your creativity. So the main thing that you want to develop, you have to start writing. And it's just studies. You can case studies that are out there. Research that. Don't take what I'm saying, but research what I'm telling you.
I've heard that before. There are a couple of things that I will write. But for me specifically, my handwriting, maybe because I don't write quite often, but there was a point in time where I had so many notebooks that I would go back and try to pull, and I'm trying to figure out what was I talking about, because I'm trying to read it or whatnot. So some voice notes and things like that work for me, but I always make sure that I have a pen and a paper for those times, because you have to realize, the amount of time that I just simply spend in front of a screen is value for me. And I make sure that if I'm in front of a screen, because it's proven that there are things, if you're looking at a screen too long, the headaches and the different things that come from that. So that's where that pen and paper comes into play as well. If you're like, I need to get this information jotted down, but you know what? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm on the screen all the time. I can't get on another screen right now. Let me write it down as well. But yeah, I have heard of some of those as well. Some of those, you were saying research and things like that state that it's something about that pen and paper connection that is totally different from typing in your phone and things like that.
If I can give everybody one takeaway as far as a lifestyle practice, right, to leave this with, expound on the notes that you've taken today. I don't know what kind of music you like to listen to or whatever. Put some music on, get into a quiet space, close the door, put the AC on or whatever, and get the business plan template, get everything, get your little computer, but take your time and just start writing. Answer the questions off of the template. And I've seen this work. I've done my own case studies on it. Answer the questions. You want to get what's in your brain out on paper for now. Get it out. Just totally deplete what's in your brain out. Then what's going to happen, and you're going to laugh when this happens, when you've totally answered all the questions. Don't feel bad about what you don't know. That's fine. What you don't know, now go research and fill it in. Research and fill it in. Once you've finished filling in that score, that initial business plan, now go get the Business Plan Pro. Now you can type in everything that you've written out. And when you get done with Business Plan Pro, you're going to hit enter and it will formulate your business plan. Now you'll have a digital copy. Now you can take that copy and take it to a bank. Now, but what did you do though? What did you do? You just wrote your business plan almost 4 times over. So if you're sitting in front of a banker, investor, or a colleague, or you're looking to partner with someone, or you're looking to scale your business and get a vendor, you need to know when you're going to be when your break-even point is. That's another conversation. You need to know when you're going to go from this revenue to profit. So if you've written that down and you've already studied it and you put it in play, okay, now you're fine. Now you know now you know your business. So instead of taking off and just running without a plan, at least pave a road for yourself to know somewhat of where you're going to go. And if things pivot off, of course, at least you can go back to your business plan and like, it said this, but now I found out this. Adjustment, minutes to the meeting, edit that minute to the meeting, boom, you're going, okay, now I can go. Now you're functioning as a business. And if you do that, a lot of people aren't, but once you start to do that, everyone that's listening to this will be way more ahead of the game than everybody else. Now the whole fear of where you should be and how long should it take, it'll answer itself. Because trust me, you'll be busy enough doing this for a good couple months, easily.
Absolutely. It takes work. It takes work. A lot of times, specifically with our people, sometimes there's shortcuts that we think about for a long time. Like, oh, well, what? Oh, that looks like a shortcut, or that looks like a shortcut. What I found with a lot of the shortcuts is you take yourself a longer way. You take the long way when you're looking for the shortcut. Have you ever actually been in a car where somebody said they're taking a shortcut and you like, really? This don't feel like a shortcut. You're taking the longer way. You're taking because you're focused on those shortcuts. The sooner you start to do that work, that mindset work, that knowledge, that accountability to what you're putting in, your body physically, spiritually, what you're watching, then that's when you're going to start to see those results. That's how you speed it up, is be ready to do the work. Be ready to really focus, mindset, development, and who you're linking with, whether it's virtually or whether it's physically, who you're linking with. And that's where that coaching comes in. Thank you, CleShae, for that. What you think about, you bring about rewiring my mind. I love it. For those who are trying who want to reach out to you or follow, can you go ahead and let give them your website or your Instagram or wherever you are most present?
Yes, I'm most present on Instagram, but it seems to have such a flow on it. Underscore Austin Business Coaching is on Instagram. So Instagram.com/ Austin Business Coaching. Facebook.com. There's no underscore, just Austin Business Coaching. Alpha King CS. The CS stands for Coaching Services or Consulting Services.com is our website. And that's what you can mainly find me on Instagram. I do a lot of just pop-up lives, a lot of different posts that just trying to give as much organic information as possible. So if you scroll through my posts by themselves, you'll see examples of clients that I've had. You'll see business plan examples. There's a ton of stuff that I try to make sure I put there. So definitely there. And I'm starting to build Facebook up per Tracy. Starting to build that up a little bit better.
I love Facebook. I don't know if that shows my age or what, but
no, but it's a difference. Yeah, no, but they all have their certain place. So you got to have your YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram family mixed together. But you can definitely find me there. And again, just trying to bring as much organic, real information to the people.
All right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. We have really appreciated you. Thank you for everyone who has worked out these kinks with us. We will be back every Saturday live at 11 a.m. This coming Wednesday, we're going to be live doing a Q&A specifically. So I'll be doing a Q&A live. That's over in my Facebook group. We'll have all of the links up under here as well. And we will see you guys next week. Thank you for bearing with us, the ones who have stayed so long. We really appreciate it. And again, welcome to all of our new nonprofit family members. If you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out. And we will see you guys on the next live. No problem, Coach Austin. See you guys on the next one.
All right.